Moving on, but still staying with Texas teams. We have Texas Tech, a 2-score favorite at Wyoming, 14 points, with an over-under 50.5. The game kicks off at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on CBS. I absolutely love this game. I bet Texas Tech at 13.5 when I had the chance to. Looks like it may come back. We did go from 14.5 back down to 14. But, that move from 14 to 13.5 takes a little bit of effort because it is a key figure. There's a lot to cover with Wyoming, personnel-wise. Their backfield is just depleted. Their top two backs, DeWyan McNeely and Harrison Wiley, they're both out for the season. Those are their top two guys. They have to replace 3 of 5 starters along the offensive line. That unit was 37th in line yards last year, 18th in rushing success rate, and their top guy, Emmanuel Pregnon, left for USC. So this is an offense that wasn't very good, wasn't very, they were super effective, but they weren't explosive. They just ran the crap out of the ball. Now they lose like 80% of that ability to before the season starts here. Defensively, Wyoming returns 10 starters. Should be another solid unit this year. They're very good on early downs, holding teams to bad success rates on early downs. And as you know, I know, and everybody listening knows, the best third down you can have is the one that you don't play. So if this team is forcing you into third downs, that is a big advantage on their part there. They're also pretty good about holding opponents to field goals inside the red zone. So they have a high red zone scoring rate. I think they were 70th in the country in that, but if you look at their points per drive, it's a lot lower than that. So they were holding teams consistently to field goals rather than touchdowns. But Texas Tech, they return all 11 starters on offense. Tyler Shuck is at quarterback. Jerron Bradley at wide receiver. He's an all-conference guy. And then Zach Kitley might be my favorite coordinator in the country right now. They should be able to move the ball, I think, through the air on this Wyoming team. However, Tech was a better rushing team last year than a passing team, and Wyoming was better against the rush than the pass.
Yeah, for me, this is an exciting game. It could be the best Texas Tech team that we've seen since 2009, at least by my numbers. I'm a big fan of Joey McGuire and what he's got going on in Lubbock. I have Texas Tech minus 13 in this one, which is an 82% win expectancy. Texas Tech power rated number 22, again, potentially the best since 2009, while Wyoming is power rated number 89. It's a mismatch on both sides of the ball, as Texas Tech has the 2 best units in this game for me. Red Raiders have the number 22 offense. They should be able to score some points here against the number 67 Wyoming defense, and I'm not sure the Cowboys' number 119 offense will be able to do much against that Tech defense that I have ranked number 61. 2 silver linings for Wyoming in this one. The game's in Laramie, as you mentioned, which, it can be a tricky place, especially, late in the year. It gets very cold there. Don't think we'll deal with that this week, as you talked about there. But Texas Tech also welcomes a top 15 Oregon team to Lubbock in week 2. So perhaps the Red Raiders are peeking ahead to that game against the Ducks. I don't know. It's worth keeping an eye on. That's projecting as, one of my top 2 or 3 games of week 2 overall. So I wouldn't blame them if they had an eye wandering there. They just need to be careful because this Wyoming team could be tricky, especially on the road. Bottom line, I have Texas Tech minus 13 on the road with an 82% win expectancy for the Red Raiders.
Really quick, I want to touch on that home field advantage for Wyoming because it goes beyond just the usual home field advantage. Wyoming's football stadium, War Memorial Stadium, I'm a college football travel junkie, I love this kind of stuff, is the highest elevation stadium in the United States at 7,220 feet above sea level. I'm an asthmatic. I visited there. Super windy day. Walking from the field up the stands is a challenge. The air is thin up there. However, Texas Tech, they're not coming from sea level. Lubbock sits 3,200 feet above sea level. That may be surprising for those who may not live out there or know that they're already kind of dealing with a little bit of a thinner air, but it's not what they're dealing with in Laramie. So we have to note that it is a bigger home field advantage possibly than your average Mountain West team. My biggest concern, though, with Wyoming is I just don't know how they're going to score. Run-oriented team. Their backfield, like I said, is depleted. They have to replace a bunch of guys up front. They don't have a quarterback on the roster capable of completing a forward pass. They run one of the slowest offenses in the country as well. 28 seconds per play is about 6th slowest last year. They don't go for it on 4th down. Maybe I'm just missing something here, but I think Texas Tech is the clearly better team, more talented team. You factor in the home field advantage. You factor in the potential look-ahead spot. I don't know if Joey McGuire is going to let these boys be looking forward, though. He's a sound coach. We've seen that. So hopefully they get their focus for this game and whatnot. I really think Tech is a much better team. Wyoming has a 17.5 team total. I don't love the juice on it. That was something I was looking maybe to bet. It's at minus 125. But that's on FanDuel, and their implied team total is 18.25. So I think you're overpaying if you're going to try to take under Wyoming's team total there. But if you had to tell me to pick a side, it's definitely under that team total. And of course, I have that Texas Tech bet at 13.5, just on they're more talented, and I don't know how Wyoming scores.